What's up, YouTube? We're gonna go out here today. We're gonna hang a stand. We're gonna put out a bunch of corn. We're gonna put out some seed. We got some seed here. Corn, stand. We're gonna go get this stuff done. Make some progress, baby. All right, guys, this is the spot we call the Big Oak. If you look up in this tree up here, that's the Big Oak tree. That's our stand is right up there. All this back here, about 600 yards straight across is another hardwood line. All this top flattens off right there and goes across and then drops back down. That whole gigantic area is all doe bedding. There's actually a transition line that runs from this big oak tree straight that way, runs from that big oak tree straight that way, and then straight that way. This right here, we're gonna plant it in September. All of this, and then obviously you can see that brown spot right there. We put corn there year round. Another big major transition line. All of these hardwoods all the way across this side. All the doe bedding back over here. Doe bedding this way. All this is hardwood. And it makes a good transition line right down through here with hardwoods right here, and then over here is a transition line between this briar thicket. So it's like a perfect travel corridor right through here. You can see right through here. Now at the end of this little lane, about another 50 yards past them trees, is a persimmon patch. About probably 15 persimmon trees loaded. But all this we're gonna plant in September with ryegrass probably. Anyway, that's one spot. I'm gonna put some corn out and move on. Okay, I wanna show you guys just real quick. Right there is that big oak tree we were just at. We're about 45, 50 yards from it. This right here, all the way down is one transition line. There's another one that runs down this away, and then you got one that runs down this away, and then you got behind the oak all the briars. Now, look right here. These bucks hang out in these hardwoods right here. Lay down all kinds of signs, trying to get these does that are moving out of this doe bedding area. They'll come over there, pick them corn piles, but they'll come in here and look for these acorns. There's always tons of scrapes in this area right here. And you can look, you're just inside the edge. This whole area right here will be loaded down with scrapes. Here's one. There's an old scrape right there. There's one over there. There's another one right there. And they're all the way down this line. So you guys remember, when you're hunting for bucks, even does, deer love lines. Any transition line changing from one habitat to the other. Try to get in there and find you a good spot where it's covered up with buck sign, deer sign. One of the best things you can find is tons and tons of deer poop. When you find tons of deer poop, you're gonna find deer. Look at this trail right here. Runs right up to our big oak tree, to that corn pile. Comes right down through there. And again, it's right on this line. So them bucks are gonna prefer to travel inside the thickest area of the line. Like that's all open. They're not gonna travel out there. They're gonna travel down this line, but inside here. So just keep that in mind, guys. All right, I'm gonna show you guys how a deer will pattern you. This makes me look like an idiot, but anyway, I thought I was a killer till I met this deer. Over there, all the way down that ditch line, all the way around and back into about, once you get out of the woods, about 100 yards, 150 yards in that way was my stand. I would travel in, down through there is a creek bottom. Then I would change it up, and I would come in from back this way and drop into that stand. I would go all the way out across the top of this ridge, all the way down to the pipeline, and then come back in this way. I literally tried every direction I could. I come in through here. Instead of coming across that side, I would come in through here and come up on this edge and then go back down through these woods and drop in. I'd come in that way from this, coming in like this. I'd come in like that, came in like that, and I came in from behind me here like this. No matter what I did, I could not kill that deer. He would be in there during the daylight every day. When I would show up, no deer. Every time. Sneaky little sucker. All right, guys, where I was a while ago was up on top of that hill. I just want to show you what this deer did. He figured me out. He patterned me somewhere along the line. You know, they don't bed in the same spot every day. So somewhere along the line and all his moving around, I crossed this path enough times that he come right here. And he was bedded up right in here. You can see all of these little trees are all broke off, rubbed on. You can see all these rubs, old rubs, newer rubs from last year. All this stuff right here broke off. They've been bedding in here for a long time. Look at these old time marks. Come in here. They were coming right in here, bedding up. They could come right down this trail, or he could, and slip right in here, and look what he could see when he's laying down. Everything. If I tried to come in from this way, up the top of here, I guess he could hear me or whatever. I don't know for sure if he was hearing me or smelling me, because I was only hunting this spot when the wind was blowing. It was blowing this away. Yeah, so that's what it was, little bastard. When I'd come from this side, he could pick up my wind coming like this. When I would come in from that side, what I would do is when I would come in from over here, I'd come up to about right here, then I'd cut down and cut back up across that way. When I was coming in from way back there, I was coming in and then cutting across that way. At any rate, almost every time I would cut across that far edge, right up there just on the wood line, he could see me. He could literally see me if I come across through there, and he could smell me if I come from back here. And he was pretty much bulletproof right here. Not only could he see me, but it's close enough. That stand is only probably 60 yards right through there. It's close enough he could hear me get up in the stand. At any rate, they will pattern it. And when they do, you can hang it up. There's a whole bunch of more little rubs and stuff right there. But yeah, he figured me out before I figured him out. But this year I know where his bed is. So I'm gonna try a new approach. Try to get his little butt. Be back in a little bit. Oh, sorry guys. Something I forgot to point out about that bed right there. Now, the reason that I never suspected him bedding down in here was because this is literally the lowest point. You got a big ridge up here, then you got a big ridge up here. And on the north wind, I would assume he was bedded up on that ridge and he was going to work that edge. And on the south wind, I assume he was bedded up on this ridge and he was going to work this edge. And I had 15 or 20 does all day long staying right in this area right here on camera. So at some point, he was going to come through there, and we had corn in there. He was on the camera every day when I wasn't here. But anyway, I never suspected him to be bedded down in the low point. So just because you're in hill country, don't mean they're going to bed on the high spots, guys. If they know you're in there and they're hunting them, they'll bed wherever they need to bed. It's going to be the safest place for them, which is what he did. And I'll show you another example on the way out today. All right, guys. Here's my food plot, my little kill plot that didn't do worth a damn. So I'm fixing to put some throw and grow and some winter rye stuff in here real quick before I have to head up to Montana. And hopefully that throw and grow stuff usually grows on rocks, so hopefully it'll get growing up in there. Right there is my, let me see here. Right there's my blind. And then I have a tree stand and one of those pine trees back there. I'll show you some more of that stuff here in a minute. Let me get this seed, and I'm gonna go ahead and throw out some lime too. Because the problem was Matt checked the soil. The soil temperature out here was like 104 degrees. So all the beans came up and got about 3 inches tall and then died. All right, guys, I'm gonna try this throw and go. I put this stuff on here, rocky roads before, and it grew. So I'm gonna try put it out there in this turd of a food plot. See what happens. All right, guys, I'm gonna show you this other spot right here. Up there is my stand. Right there is my tent. And then over there is that little kill plot that is a turd of a kill plot, but we just replanted, so hopefully we get something going. But anyway, so all back this way, back here, about 150 yards over is the neighbor's property, and that's big hardwoods back there. All up on top of this ridge, from here all the way back is doe bedding. And there's tons of old historical and last year buck sign. They come off that ridge and cruise right through here, and in early season they cruise right through here because this is all persimmons. There's a ton of persimmon trees right here. See the persimmons? Persimmon trees all the way back down through there. And then this is a draw that comes around and it comes out into a saddle right up on top of that, right through the doe bedding. So them bucks will come right through that doe bedding, and then they'll follow this ridge all the way around like this. They've always come through here. I just put that kill plot for extra, but we feed them out in here, and every day, tons and tons of bucks. They were all young bucks last year, but hopefully, well, we do have some on camera that are going to get shot if they come through here this year. And then also we have in here, obviously here's where we've been feeding corn. Right here is one of the mineral licks that I put in, and like I said, yeah, they're still hitting it pretty good. They come right through here, and then right through here, you can see the trail coming right through them persimmons, that ditch right through them persimmons. They have another really good trail that wraps around right here. Right, you can see that trail coming up through there. Right up that way is all the doe bedding, and then the bucks will bed back here. This draw goes down, there's a ridge on both sides. The bucks will bed on that ridge and on this ridge about 150 yards from them does. And then when they get up on the north wind, they'll travel right through here, and hopefully they come right underneath that pine tree and grab them a persimmon and get an arrow. That'll be extra for them. No charge, baby. So that's this spot, but yeah, you can come through here. I'll show you. There's tons of old and new buck sign in here. I'll show you right up here where they hang out in here when they're checking around for these does. There's an old rub right there. This probably hit a little bit last year, but right here, about 25 yards from that stand. The reason I put this mineral lick here, because up here you can see all the historical rubs on these pine trees. Pretty much every one of these pine trees up here have been rubbed. I'm pretty sure that at some point the buck that made the majority of these older ones is probably bedding right up here, because he's got a draw through there, a draw through there. This makes a little point, and the wind travels like this right through that draw and around most of the time, which is why I have to hunt way up on this side, up on this ridge. You can't hardly hunt over here. If you try, no matter what you do, only thing you're going to see in here is little bucks and does. You can see all the old rubs. There's more there, more there. It's just everything down through this whole point down to that draw, working its way all the way around to them doe bedding is rubs and scrapes galore every year. This one here is not too bad. It's almost waist high, but anyway, I was just going to show you that. And then obviously it's another transition line going down through there, and then this transitions this little draw. It's a transition of the land, more so of a draw or a saddle or whatever you want to say. But along with that, there's a bunch of pines through there, and then on this side of the pines over here is thicket, brushy buckbrush and briars, and then the big pines running through, and then it turns into hardwoods here and all the way back, all the way up there, 715 yards to the Copperhead spot, which I have a stand in between these two spots for early season bow hunting. I set up on more persimmons. So you can see too, feeding corn right here, mineral lick right there, corn right here, persimmons all the way through that draw, blind right there, and then a bow stand when we get a, well, they're all bow stands for me, but a hang on if we ever get a good enough wind to be able to hunt right here. 99% of the time, it's going to have to be in that blind right there because of the way the wind blows here. It always wants to work its way out of the south. In the mornings, you're kind of okay because the thermals are coming up. But even though you're still right here and they're going up, the ridge line is high. It's probably only 5 feet below that stand when you get all the way up to the top. So as them thermals are going up, they still hit that ridge and work their way around because they hit them trees and filter through the trees. Always think about that. Think about your wind. It's not just blowing in a straight line and leaving. It's hitting trees and moving around and swirling. And some of it's dropping, some of it's rising, some of it's turning around and coming back to you. If you got a big buck that's staying in that area, you can almost bet it's swirling and coming back through there in some sort of a fashion that he doesn't have to worry about anything. So there's the blind. Doe bedding again is up here, right through this little area right here, kind of the transition. It's open up there, so them bucks, like I said earlier, are gonna stay just inside the transition line, work their way right through there. If I had time, I could walk through and show you scrape after scrape after scrape from last year and rub, but I'm not gonna do that right now because I still got more food plot work to do, and then move on to the next spot. All right, guys, we're back over at the Copperhead. Man, this summer has been brutal. We put 750 gallons of water on this thing in the past week. Still looks like a turd. It's been 900 degrees, heat index like 110, 105. I guess nothing's gonna do good in here except these freaking briars. I just went through and pulled tons of briars. They grew 3 foot in a week. Well, anyway, not looking great. I mean, we got beans in there. I'm just gonna keep the fence up and try to keep them beans green till end of September, 1st of October. I'm in here surrounded by white oak, so I'm hoping that, you know, for us, a lot of the green will be gone the second week of October. Anything that they like to eat, so I'm hoping to keep these beans green and have some green for them. But I'm going to overseed all of this, all of this. I'm just leaving this now till September, and I'm going to put ryegrass in here, cereal grain rye. So I'm going to overseed this whole thing with that. Supposedly that rye will grow anywhere on anything, so we will see. If not, you can never beat the yellow gold. We'll feed that all year long. So last year in this spot right here, I had a real nice 8-point that we weren't trying to kill. He was in here every day during the rut, broad daylight, chasing does, breeding does on camera. This year he's a good big one. I'll find pictures of him and put them on here for you guys to see. I'm gonna try to kill him this year. So anyway, we're gonna go hang this stand now. All right, guys, I'm gonna show you another little ambush spot that I'm gonna hunt this year. All up in here, the bucks, they just live up in here. You can see we're on the top of a ridge. So there's numerous beds down through here and even back this way. Here's a pretty fresh bed that one's using. Right now they haven't got 100, they got all the grass matted down. Let me turn this camera around. They have all the grass matted down right here. Pretty big deer. But you can see, this is just a deer sanctuary. This is just a buck sanctuary right here. Now, right there, that's hardwood starts right there. That's a line runs all the way down this ridge. And that's all hardwoods, and it goes down to a creek. Then up here on top where we're at right now, there's a lot of does that bed up in here. But there's a lot of buck beds up in and around here. Rubs and scrapes all around. Right there, them hardwoods ledge. And that's literally the transition line right there. And then up this way, that's all perfect spots for bucks to bed on top of this ridge. They can bed here on a north or south wind, and they do. I've last year found several beds up in here during the rut, because once you go way back that way and way back that way, a few hundred yards, it's more just like grass with no trees on top, and that's where them does like to bed up. Now here's another bed right there. Not a very big deer. You can see a rub right there. Hey guys, here's another bed right there. You can see, I don't know if you can see, it's matted down round spot, small deer. There's a doe and a fawn, but you can see laying down right here. They can see everything. There is a doe in last year's yearling, little buck that lives up here. Could be now. You can see right here, deer's been bedded in here for a while. But all up in here, good beds, new beds, old beds, everywhere beds. I'm gonna show you guys this. All these old limbs, they're mangled up, been broke off in the past. But in here, right there and right there, that's deer doing that. Some of them are old scrapes. Some of them are deer getting up out of these beds, breaking their horns around. You see another bed right here. Right here under this tree. And if you get up underneath here, sit down in this bed and take a look around. Look at what this buck can see right here, and he is 100% hidden. You can see that's the trail right there coming in. That big oak tree is just on the other side of that little kill plot. I call it the dirt plot because that's all they had in is dirt. But yeah, you see them broken off limbs right there. That's where the bucks live, baby. So as you can see, the further we go this way, the more it opens up. You get in here in these openings, you can see where there's just tons of little beds in circles where these doe groups have been up here bedding up, and them bucks, they'll stay back in that thicker stuff back there, about 150 to 200 yards away. And that's just how they do. So right here we're on this transition line. That's the big wood. It gets pretty open. It's all hardwood. Back here is the thick stuff to cover up top. And if you walk through here, you can just see old rubs from years past on all these trees. They're just working through these transition lines, working right down through this transition line, just like always. Just coming right down this edge. And of course, when they're coming down this edge right here, you got the top of the hill here. You can come down to this shelf where it's open up. There's another old rub right there. You can come down right through here. Right over there is one of them beds I showed you. Right here's these hardwoods. This deer, they can travel right through this elevation right here. On a south wind, that wind's coming over this hill, coming like this. And in the morning, the wind will be coming from down there, not the wind, but the thermals will be rising. So as that wind comes over this hill and hits them rising thermals, it'll swirl. When it swirls, that buck can travel right down this swirl. I call it the buck tunnel. And he can pick up any does or danger up here, any does in danger down there. But you probably had a little sneaky turd got me last year every time I was trying to get in there and hunt in the mornings. So anyway, it's just a good transition line right here. I got a little spot right back that way so I can go all the way around to the pipeline. Only have to come in the woods from the pipeline about 200 yards, slide it up in the tree, and hopefully catch them bucks during the peak that they're actually cruising looking for does. Coming from here, going there, trying to catch does, feeding in these hardwoods, and does bedded up back in here. So we're gonna see what happens anyway. All right, so right back over in there is where I'm gonna have that little ambush tree that I can slip into. You can see right here, this is them hardwoods. This is that same transition line. Man, they have been wearing this stuff out with these trails. A lot of fresh deer crap in here. I'm telling you guys, when hunting season opens up and you find a lot of poop, a lot of fresh poop, the deer are coming through there. They're using it. There's something in there they like. For some reason they're staying there, staging area, something they're eating. Whatever the case, if you find a lot of deer poop, you need to get in there. All right, so the trees that I'm gonna get in are right back up there, or right over there. I'll have to walk up there and look, but I'll be able to see down in here, right on this transition line right here. You can see open woods, thicket, grass. Some deer's gonna cruise right through here, and I'm gonna be sitting about 20 yards up that way. I don't want to get to this edge right here because, for one, that's more I gotta walk into their house, and for another, when I'm standing out here like this, it's wide open. He could be bedded anywhere and spot me, so I need to come in the thick stuff, slip in and out, and try to get it. And this is gonna be one of those spots you're only gonna get one or two tries, and he's gonna be on you. If you look, guys, at this matted down grass, this is probably a bunch of does bedded up in here. The reason why they're not completely wore out beds, there's an old scrape from last year. The reason why these, you're there, that's what I'm talking about right there. The reason why these little beds up in here are not 100% wore to the ground, they're just being used occasionally, because I have a corn pile right there. So if you feed corn, you don't need to be trying to get in and out of there when there's corn on the ground. I'm trying to get pictures for sure, but there's the main trail that comes right through there is the reason I put it here, because that trail comes right through there, which I'm sure is a doe trail. But anyway, what them deer will do, bucks and does alike, I've seen it on my cameras a million times. When there's corn here, they'll bed just off of the corn, 20 or 30 yards. And they'll bed up and stay there and eat until the corn's gone. Then they'll move to another spot where there's food. So if you see beds like that are pretty fresh, you can see that there's a whole bunch of deer laying around there. Could be a bachelor group of bucks, could be a little group of does, but if you have corn there, that's why them beds are fresh, and then they're not just completely wore down to the ground. When the corn's gone, the deer move on. So just remember that if you are feeding corn and you're relying on that corn pile to kill your deer, if there ain't no corn there, there ain't gonna be no deer there. But another thing too is if there's corn there, there's gonna be a deer there close. And if he's not close, when he comes in, he knows you're bringing corn. He hears you side by side, he hears you full wheeler, he hears you dump it. He knows when you're bringing it and when you leave. So they'll circle it every time before they come in. They'll try to get downwind of it, see if you're there. So if you're gonna set up on it, you got to pick a fancy little sneaky spot where kind of knowing which way they're gonna go, try to circle down on you, and you got to be just off wind of them. We've shot a lot of them like that, but just keep that in mind. If you're seeing them in the daytime over your corn and you're not seeing them when you're there, go back to the drawing board. They know you're there every time. So just think about that. All right, guys, I was going to show you how a buck will bed up on these access trails. Right there's the trail. That's the neighbor's property. That guy comes in right, his box stand is right over there somewhere. I don't know. But that fence row, that's our property. And this is the trail coming up. Now look at this. This is, I believe this deer got killed by that guy last year. I think this might be the one we called Fat Boy. But we got rubs, all these rubs right here. Oh, this deer he was bedding up right here. He could watch that trail. He could hear that guy come in over there. I wasn't hunting anywhere over here, but a few times I walked in this trail, but I was going way down there to hunt a whole different deer. We weren't trying to kill this deer. He didn't have much of a rack. He was just a big old deer. But anyway, you can see that trail coming right through there. There's still deer using this, and there'll be a new buck probably take his spot if he is the one that got killed last year. But you can see they will bed up right here and watch them trails. Watch Dan Imhoff, the hunting beast. He'll tell you all about that stuff. He knows. So, anyway, I just want to show you that. I got another good example, fresh, that I'll show you. Little scrape from last year. You see there was a limb broken off. Old rub on that tree. So I'm trying to find the best way to get in and out of this new spot I got over here. I'm not really liking what I'm seeing because this looks way too much like buck bedding in here to me. Which means I'm gonna be busted trying to come in like this. Alright guys, I'm out of the woods. That last spot I was just checking out, trying to figure out if I was gonna be able to go in and out of that way or not. I don't think I'm gonna be able to go in right there. I didn't see any like fresh buck beds or anything in there. There's a lot of deer crap in there, and it just looks like a spot where a buck is gonna bed up. So I'm gonna have to find a new way to get in and out of there. And I didn't hang the stand because if I can't find a way in and out of there, there's no point in putting a stand there. So anyway, I'm more out. I'm gonna go in here, get me an ice cold Diet Dr. Pepper, take a little break. Catch you guys later.